Participant education, spending in retirement. Now it's time to look at spending. This is one of the few areas where you have a lot of control in retirement. Instead of accumulating and saving money, once you retire, the focus becomes spending wisely and managing all of the money you have saved over the years. Even though retirement has been reached, there is a possibility that the money saved may need to last 30 or more years. And while many costs generally decrease in retirement, costs like healthcare can increase tremendously. Many retirees fear the risks versus benefits trade-off associated with investing their money after retirement. This can lead to pulling out money in volatile markets or investing too conservatively, which results in returns that do not keep up with inflation. It's important to consider investing a portion of your money to stay ahead of inflation, which allows the account to grow by receiving compound rates of return over time. This chart shows the average percentage Americans spend on the most common expenses before and after retirement. The gray bars depict people approaching retirement, and the purple show the average spending of individuals 65 or older. For most Americans, spending peaks at 45, after which spending declines in all categories except for healthcare. For example, after retirement, the average American will spend more money on healthcare than on food. The challenge with healthcare spending is that it tends to be the industry with the fastest growing costs and inflation. So in retirement, one of the most expensive costs you will likely come across will be in a category you continue spending more in, and that keeps getting more expensive. Having a well thought out spending plan for retirement that reflects how your spending may change over time, such as more money set aside for healthcare costs, is critical. In the graph here, we see 3 different withdrawal rates and the projected amount of time each savings account would last with the given rate. 6% is in purple, which appears to last about 23 years, 5% in blue lasts 30 years in this scenario, while 4% could last well past 30 years into retirement. How much you choose to withdraw may depend on your total amount of savings, how much you plan to spend each year in retirement, your health, and a variety of other factors. So what withdrawal rate is right for you? Only you can decide what will work in your situation, but in the past, many people followed the 4% rule. The 4% rule estimates that 4% of your portfolio can be withdrawn in the first year of retirement, and that when adjusted properly for inflation over time, your portfolio can last for at least 30 years at this rate. Using the assumptions in the graph here, 4% shown in the graph by the gray line, the 4% rule appears to hold true in both typical and more volatile markets. However, with current interest rates and potential returns below long-term averages, even the 4% rule may result in a shortfall in retirement. This is why it is important to be flexible, periodically reevaluate, and adjust your spending based on your circumstances and market conditions. Not all investing is the same. Most investors typically have their money in a variety of different asset classes in an effort to lessen risk and increase potential return. This investing in numerous asset classes is what makes up your portfolio, and the breakdown of these different types of asset classes is called your portfolio allocation. In this graph, we have 4 different types of portfolio allocations, or 4 different percentage breakdowns of stocks versus bonds, etc. In this hypothetical scenario, each portfolio starts out with $1 million at retirement. I'll briefly mention each one to illustrate how different percentage mixes can affect your total savings over time. Moving from left to right on the graph, first we have the straight green line represented by 100% cash, meaning money was left in a savings account and not invested. Based on the assumptions in this scenario of a typical market and a steady withdrawal rate of 4% each year, straight cash could last a little over 25 years. To the right of that is a portfolio mix of 20% equities, or stocks, and 80% fixed income, like government bonds, in purple. Assuming standard rates of return, this mix looks to last over 30 years. The gray line, represented by 40% equities and 60% fixed income, which is a common portfolio mix of people today, makes that $1 million last well over 30 years. Last up is the blue line, or 60% equities and 40% fixed income. In this scenario, with standard rates of return, this mix appears to last the longest, but has the highest amount of risk. It's very important to note that equities can have significantly more risk associated with them, meaning on average they tend to be more volatile than fixed income investments. In general, the higher the risk, the higher the potential return, but the return is not guaranteed. When selecting your portfolio allocation, it is very important that you understand the risks involved and are comfortable with the level of risk in your portfolio. Check out Part 4 up next for more information on selecting investments for your 401k.